How you been?
I've been good. I've been really good.
You've been running a lot.
Oh yeah,
I
even
saw
more than I have been.
I saw that you were just in a race the other day, and
Yeah,
so how long was that race?
it was a 15K, which is 9 miles. It was my very first 15K race.
Yeah.
So it's very different from the 5Ks and the 10Ks. It's a 3 mile loop that you were doing, so it had 3 loops all together. So
Nice.
yeah, it was definitely much different. But I was pushing myself way harder than I was like planning to.
Yeah.
I was wanting to actually take my time with it, but I jumped into it and was going at my fastest pace through the whole entire race.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
So I usually kind of go slow into it, and then I start to push like
Towards,
about,
like, the
middle, and and then I'm really going towards the end. But the whole thing was pushing really hard, way harder than like I said, way harder than I planned.
Yeah. I saw that on Facebook, and I was like, man, it's too hot out there for all that. I'm good.
It actually wasn't bad. So it was 7 a.m. was when the race started.
Oh yeah, it's not too bad temperature wise
Right.
at that time, but gosh, man, it's so humid. Mm-hmm. It's so humid that early in the morning.
It rained for about 10 minutes right before the race too. So when the rain stopped, it was 7 o'clock, but
Yeah.
they still wanted to wait until like the storm passed over and was gone.
Yeah.
So we had to wait another 10 minutes after that. But there was a lot of cloud coverage too.
Yeah.
So, it really was not that bad for the heat. So I was kind of surprised about the two because I was full expecting it to be hot.
Yeah, I was expecting August to be quite a bit hotter than it is because all the heat that we had in July, man, it got hot in July.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was expecting August to be a killer, but it's not been too bad. We've had a couple 100-degree days, but it's not been really too awful. But even still, 92 I think is the high today. And it feels a lot hotter than 92.
Yeah.
And it rained last night, and we got a big storm come through, and that was pretty wild. It wasn't even supposed to rain, and then all of a sudden 100% chance, and the storm came out of nowhere, and I was like, hey, my lawn could use it.
Well, yeah, we definitely needed the rain. But that 15K, it was really good. Probably my best race to date.
Yeah.
I took first in my age division. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did, but I didn't want to mention your age, though.
No, it's all good. So out of 6 other racers, we were in the 30 to 35 range.
Yeah.
And I got my first pin. I've never gotten a pin before.
That's awesome.
So I got to pin it to my actual ribbon on my medal.
Hell yeah.
So I thought that was, I was in total shock. Whenever they said that you took first in your age division, I was like, oh shit, what? Like, what? No way. So I was completely shocked about that. And like I said, I was not expecting to push myself that hard either.
Right.
So the whole race, I was just, going at that extreme pace.
Just feeling good in the
Yeah,
race.
exactly.
And just taking advantage of that feeling.
Right. And when in the races too, I try to stay positive and uplift everybody else as I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody I was passing, because I feel bad because there's a lot of people that are walking, a lot of people that are just slowly at their slow pace. And I like to encourage people as I'm going by, you got it, keep it pushing. Like I try to tell every single person as I'm going by.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I think I could use more of that just on a daily basis, not in a race, but I kind of do the same thing when I'm out in public and people ask me like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I always give an exaggerated answer, like I'm fantastic or wonderful. I give them an answer that they don't expect, and
Right.
and always bring and it doesn't really matter what kind of day I'm having. If somebody asks me how I'm doing and I think that it could bring a smile to their face, I'm like, I'm doing wonderful. How are you? And forcing that smile onto my face, it helps a lot. So I definitely appreciate moments like that from other people.
Oh yeah. I feel like the energy you put out is the
You get
energy you're
back.
going to get back.
Absolutely.
And I feel like whenever I was in that race and I was, encouraging people, I had this feeling like I have something coming back towards me.
Yeah.
The whole time I was doing that. And whenever at the end of the race they told me I had got first in my age division, I was like, that was it. That was the energy I put out, and
That's
it got
what I'm
back.
pushing for, yeah.
And I got 6th overall in the whole thing.
That's
So I took sixth, first in the age division. But yeah, that was by far the best race I've ran.
So are you looking forward to this upcoming race in September? You got a full marathon you're running?
I'm nervous. I'm excited. I know I'm gonna cry like a little baby at the very end. I know that's gonna happen.
26.2 miles. I'll probably be crying before I even started because I know what's ahead of me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But hey, I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been doing a lot of training.
You said you changed your diet up as well.
Completely changed my diet. I watched this documentary on Netflix called The Game Changer. I encourage everybody to go watch it. And it's about plant-based diet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of athletes out there, weightlifters, Olympians that
I wanted
do
to talk
this.
to you about that because I don't ever see myself going to a plant-based diet. I
didn't either.
I couldn't do it. Like I have to. So for me, it's more about not only taste, but like the protein and stuff like that. If I could find something plant-based that tasted good, that was packed with protein, I might, but I'm not going to like swear off meat altogether.
Right.
But,
Oh no. And this, what's kind of cool about changing my diet with this plant-based is finding the new things, finding the things out there that I like. And it's really weird because there is a lot of things that I'm like, oh, this is actually really good.
Yeah. I actually love doing that when we go to so if you ever been to Aldi food store,
yeah.
we love that place. And the reason why I like it is because you could go in that store and find all kinds of neat shit that you've never seen before. And they have all kinds of weird food that I've never had before. And I go in there and I'll pick up just something I'd never seen before, bring it home just to try it out.
Yeah.
If it's not good, I've wasted like $3. So, it is what it is. But I love trying new things. And when we go on vacations, that's what I do. And
There you go. Yeah. I actually, for the first time, went to the Asian market over there where Payless shoes used to be.
What's that? Hornbills?
Hornbill. I
Yeah.
almost called it shoe hornbill.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hornbill. I went in there for the first time and I actually found some plant-based jerky. It still had the same texture as
kidding.
beef jerky. And the taste is a little off, but I mean, it's spicy. It's, it's still that same texture. It wasn't bad. If I had to put a grade on it, maybe a C,
Yeah.
But, for something alternative, you're looking for, it wasn't that bad. It
Yeah.
really wasn't. And there was a lot of things in there that I was like,
That's the
eye-opening on it.
I don't want to eat something that's not that bad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah. The whole thing with it though has just been performance. I'm not like that person who's like, save the animals,
Right,
but
right.
I know people out there are like that. They're Facebook warriors that will go
yeah.
after you, you know, and
my sister's a dog owner or breeder owner handler, I think is what they call them.
Mm-hmm.
She when she goes to these dog shows, man, the PETA shows up. It's freaking weird. Like I'm just flabbergasted.
well, PETA itself, we can go a whole thing with
Yeah,
them. They kill more dogs and animals out of anybody. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah.
The shelters, it's like less
no-kill
than
shelters.
Yeah, there's a lot of no-kill shelters, but PETA is like way high. The
Yeah.
last like 5-6 years has been bad. Yeah. I looked up their statistics on there.
I've not actually done any research on any of it. Because the more I just couldn't. So there's a whole aspect like truth to power, and I believe there is a necessary reason for PETA to exist, but they don't serve their purpose. They just run around bitching all the time about the treatment of animals. Well, like our food sources, our sources of food,
Right.
it is inhumane how those animals are treated, but they're farmed for food. It is what it is. Like we can't just run around pretending that we're doing something that we're not, or we are something different than what we are. We grow food to eat. We farm animals for food.
Yeah.
And the whole issue of not raising animals for food and doing, mass farming PETA doesn't understand how much death and destruction goes into farming,
Oh yeah.
and if I can't get behind something like that. And the more research I do on it, I'm just like, the more pissed off I get.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I mean, there's some people out there that'll go raid a farm to steal their pigs and set them free, and they're doing more harm than good. And the pigs get out and they become feral pigs, and it becomes a whole mess. And
Oh yeah.
I just it would not serve my purpose to dig into that, because they're not going to change, and I'm not going to change them, and it is what it is.
Right.
So,
Yeah. The diet is good. I can definitely tell, like, my performance and my running and everything
it's a lot
is
better.
Oh yeah.
You got a lot more endurance.
Oh yeah. I have a lot more energy now. The energy and not being as sluggish too.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 months, and it was at the very end of June when I actually started this diet. Like I said, I can definitely change, like, tell. And
See, my thing, I got plenty of endurance. I've got endurance for days, but I don't have the motivation, I guess you would say. I don't. So when I first start doing something, man, I'll go right at it. Like you said, you did in that 15K, but I won't be able to keep that pace the whole time, and I don't run or anything like that. It's just like, I mow the lawn that way. You know what I'm saying? I'll start out like gung ho. I'm going to mow the lawn. And by the end, I'm like,
my legs.
no, it's not really even that. It's just like, I don't like mowing lawns anymore.
Right.
But then I get up and I'll look at the yard as a whole, and I'll be like, man,
I did that.
Yes. Yeah. That's that feeling I love to have.
Satisfaction. It actually is done. Yeah.
That's the reason why I actually mow my own lawn. Like I could have the kid out there doing it, and I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, like, I like my lawn, and I could just let the kid go out there and cut and do whatever he wants, and be fine, but
Right.
I like my lawn,
Yeah.
and for some reason I'm in this competition with my old ass neighbors. And so I let them bully me into mowing my lawn, because
It
they'll go
happens.
out there and mow their lawn. And then I'm like, well, shit, now I got to go out there and mow mine, because it's that way it matches.
Right.
And they do the same thing. When I go out there and mow my lawn and try to beat them, they come out with their mowers. And, and it's really funny, because they're like in their 70s. So
Yeah. They don't have really anything else going on.
no,
Yeah. I bet their life is that lawn.
right.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
yeah. I was gonna say too. I've cut out milk or all dairy.
Dairy,
and then dairy is actually a really big one. Eggs is not as bad. But
I can't
dairy.
cut my eggs, man.
I might not do dairy ever again.
We have bacon and eggs like 3 times a week for dinner.
Really?
Yeah, dude, that's like one of my favorite meals.
Oh, yeah?
Not 3 times a week, but it's like at least twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
And we would be having that for dinner tonight, but nobody laid out the bacon.
Yeah, I can say, because I've actually, what the cool thing about actually cutting all this stuff out is you have a meal like randomly to see if it actually is going to affect you or not. And dairy has affected me, and I can tell with my stomach, my bowels, dairy is bad.
Yeah.
I am allergic to dairy. I've already looked it up, and I know why I have the issues I have is because of the dairy.
Yeah.
So, and I was talking to my wife about it, because we were sitting there on Google trying to figure out why it's messing me up so bad, and it was the dairy.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, like I said, I might not ever do dairy ever again, but here after my race and everything's over with, I might go back to, having chicken once in a while, fish. Yeah. I might not ever do red meat again though.
Oh, that's another thing. I love fish, man. I love fish.
Yeah. I'll definitely eat fish and chicken. I love that. But red meat, I'm completely cutting that out.
Yeah. I hear red meat's bad for you, but I can't, I can't part with it, man. Burger, hamburger, cheeseburgers, man, that's my favorite.
I've found that there's There's bean burgers out there that are really good.
No, man. No.
They're not. There's some that are not bad. They're really not. I actually, I like beans and stuff like that. So,
man, I remember when Burger King tried to sell us this. You can't convince me.
It's not bad.
I'll challenge you. I will challenge you to bring me a burger.
Okay.
And that if you find one of those plant-based burgers that you're like, man, you know what? Ricky's got to try this.
Right.
Give me a chat and I'll throw me a message and I'll go out and buy one.
So we actually have the Burger King at least once a week because on Wednesdays you can get them real cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go on the app, you can get them real cheap.
It's like Whopper Wednesdays or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, they have the vegan burgers, or what are they called? The plant-based burgers.
Impossible
Whopper. Yeah. So I do the Impossible Whoppers.
Bad.
It's not.
It's not bad.
It really is not.
I've had a few of them.
And then I'm like, I really can't tell the difference. And then Anna, my wife, she just gave me a little piece of hers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a difference. There's a lot more taste and flavor in it. Yeah. But the Impossible Whopper, I just know it doesn't slow me down.
It's kind of like with anything else, though. Like if you eat it, like if you've committed to that, impossible diet or whatever, if you've committed to it, then it's good enough.
Oh yeah.
I've had those Impossible Whoppers. They aren't bad, but I can tell a difference, and I just prefer.
Oh, no, yeah.
When I'm talking burgers, I'm talking like homemade burgers out on a grill, and that. So there's something about that. I can eat it in the middle of January, right? Mm-hmm. And it'll just take me to summer, and I love it. I love it.
I love that. I love that feeling too, that food will bring you back to a memory.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I still have my mom, she makes me this chicken and rice, and it still takes me back to where I was when I was a kid, what we were watching. Like I love those memories from food.
That's why I can't eat pot roast, man. So my wife, she thinks this is terrible and funny at the same time, but we don't eat like roasting potatoes here at the house. And the biggest reason is because the smell while it's cooking. Like I can handle like roast beef and all that, but you mix in carrots and potatoes with it and that smell, it just reminds me a lot of my childhood because back when I was a kid, like pot roast was a cheap cut of meat that you could go to the store and pick up for a few dollars. Now it's not like that.
Right.
But back then it was. And so we had pot roast and potatoes and carrots like every other night for a long time. And it maybe we didn't quite have it that often, but we had it a lot. Enough to where if I smell it, it makes my stomach hurt. And I'm like, I just, for whatever reason, I just can't eat it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
That before this diet, my wife would make that all the time.
Yeah.
And I would, same thing. She doesn't make that for me or before this diet, but she never would make that anymore for me because she knew I did not like it. That's one of the very few things I don't like.
Talking about being poor and having to eat things, man, when I invited you over here yesterday to do that, like short notice, and I appreciate you coming. And I was like, man, I wonder if Will would want to come over and record with me. And so I text you, but for some reason I thought that we had all the drinks and everything that we needed right here in the refrigerator. And I swear, man, we had a case of water out here right on top of that thing. I don't know where it went. I have no idea where it went. Like the kids must have drank it all.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I, for whatever reason, I didn't think to come out here beforehand and check to see if we had everything that we needed. And so I texted you and I was like, hey man, I dropped the ball. Can you bring your own drink? But
No. We used to get the bottled water all the time too, but we found it's actually cheaper to get your own water cooler.
Yeah.
And then get the jugs. It's far cheaper. I think the water tastes better. I'm a very big water connoisseur.
I never really thought about that. Because you get them. Of course, people really probably only know like the water coolers from like rental companies. I didn't know you could buy your own there for a long time, but then I was looking on Amazon for something stupid, and I was like, a water cooler.
And they're fairly cheap too.
Yeah. I thought, and you could get a soda fountain really cheap.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want like carbonated water,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, that's cool. My wife would probably love something like
well,
that.
they have those soda streams too now. And you can do carbonated water in those. My kid wants to get one of those so we can carbonate beans.
There you go.
I don't know why he wants.
That's a
carbonated.
thing? I didn't.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, he just decided. He's like, Dad, we got to get a soda stream so we can carbonate beans, and I'm like, that sounds disgusting, but I'm in.
Right?
You know,
Carbonated beans. That's funny.
I just want to try it. You know, it's just because he said, man, now this is also coming from a kid that we were walking out of a store one time and he's like, Dad, you ever thought about kicking a bird? And I'm like, no. He's like, I want to kick a bird. And I'm like, why would you want to kick a bird?
I mean, could you actually catch a bird to kick it? Or you want to kick it in midair while it's flying by?
I have no idea what he was thinking.
That's funny.
It was odd.
They had the funniest imaginations, kids, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. It's weird. But then again, like when I was a kid, I did too. And then
Right.
once I had kids, my imagination was like, you know, it was broken or something. You know, I'm trying to get it back though.
Right.
It is what it is. But anyway, now back to the diets and whatnot. But
Yeah,
you were talking about like how much better that you felt, and like
A lot better.
Do you have a lot of? Does it make you have a lot of gas though?
Yes. I went for a run yesterday. It was 6 miles and really hot outside, and I think I was tooting every like couple of minutes. And I mean, I'm not just like small ones. It was big ones.
Ripping
Like,
ass.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, geez. But yeah, I mean, I think that's just like one of the biggest downsides. But weighing the benefit rather than the cons,
Right.
it's way better for me. I've cut out everything. I don't drink. I don't
And as-
smoke. I live a very, very boring lifestyle right now.
Hey, it is, but you're actually, you got a goal and you're working toward that goal, and you know it's okay. Like definitely don't, you know, drinking and smoking. That's completely fine that you don't do that. That's not weird at all. Like, I mean, we live in Missouri, so it's one of those, everybody smokes here. It's
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those things. I smoke, but like if you don't smoke, don't start smoking. That's a great thing that you don't smoke. Not drinking, man, I'm telling you what, I'm 39. It's overrated.
It really
So,
is.
It is overrated. I'm good with that.
I haven't drank since February, and that was this like when they had the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the Super Bowl was the last time I drank. I was out in Vegas with my family, and I blacked out after killing a bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
And we got back to the Airbnb. I was dropped because I passed out. They dropped me, and I hit my head pretty dang hard.
Oh man.
So that was a big wake up call. And like I said, I'm not going to be drinking at all.
The last
anymore.
time I drank, we did a live podcast.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
We got belligerent.
Yes.
We got belligerent. And so I woke up the next day. It took me like 2 or 3 days to recover from that. And I didn't drink very much.
Right.
It was just like, man, I got up and I told my wife, and I say I didn't drink very much. And I had 3/4 of a fifth of Crown Royal. And my buddy was trying to take shot for shot with me for a minute, but he didn't make it. But there was no bottle left, so
Dang.
I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know how much I did drink, but I woke up the next day and I told my wife, I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm just too damn old.
Yeah, I think my problem was I was drinking 2 nights before
Yeah.
the Super Bowl. So I was drinking that Friday night,
Yeah.
and then I woke up Saturday, and we were drinking then. And then Sunday morning, we all went out to the casino, and we started drinking then too.
Yeah.
And then we were taking shots of Crown back at the hotel, or back to the Airbnb, of Crown, that blackberry. We were trying to find that blackberry Crown.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's overrated. And don't get it. Don't spend your money on that stuff.
So that's my favorite drink is Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Like my favorite alcoholic drink, my favorite whiskey is Crown Royal. I just drink it straight.
There you go. Then we ran from, my sister and I, we ran from the Airbnb all the way to the event that we were supposed to be at. It was only a mile away, a mile and a half or something like that. But we ran from there to the event we were at. It was all outside. When we got there, they gave us a shot of tequila. So we started drinking at the event, and they gave us a free bottle. There was bottle service, so they brought us a whole bottle of Ciroc.
Yeah.
None of my family wanted it. I'm the only one killing this bottle of Ciroc on my own.
Wow.
And
Vodka takes you to a different place, man.
It
makes me
does.
stupid.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me so stupid.
It does. It's, man, I had fun, and we were leaving that event. When we left the event, we were right around the corner from the Trump Tower.
Yeah.
So we walked to the Trump Tower, and which was actually a really beautiful place. You get inside there, that lobby is actually really nice inside there. And then
we almost stayed in one in Chicago.
They're nice.
It was only $600 a night, like
Right.
for their. It was like a penthouse suite. It was only $600 a night
Yeah.
in Chicago. And the only reason we didn't do it is because we weren't paying for the room. It was company. So
Yeah.
I was like, man, we should just kick in the extra few $100s to get this one.
yeah,
But
I talked to the clerk up there. I was just curious to see how much their rooms were, and
Yeah.
the highest rates were like $3 something.
yeah,
They
it's
weren't
not
that much.
bad.
Yeah, I was
And
kind of shocked.
There's a TV in the bathroom
What?
behind the mirror.
That's cool.
In some of these rooms, like in the suite that we were gonna get, they're in the bathroom. There's a big jacuzzi tub, and there's a mirror with a TV behind it.
Huh.
So you could watch TV while you're taking a bath or whatever.
That's really cool.
And I mean, I thought, could you imagine like a house like this with something like that? Like I told my wife I'm going to do
Why
something
not?
like that. She's like,
That's cool.
No. I was like, she'd be like, well, you're going to be sitting in there watching the football game from the toilet. I know you.
Hey, why not? I
wouldn't have to leave. I wouldn't have to go
thought about
anywhere
doing
for
the same
3 hours.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. I've thought about doing the same thing, just a game. But that was back when like my bowels like were so messed up.
Having issues like
Yeah.
from dairy.
It's dairy. I know
gotta
it's
be.
dairy because like I said, I've tested, just had a meal here and there, a small meal of
Yeah.
something with milk in it, and I can tell it's definitely dairy that's been messing me up. And
So no butter then, huh?
no butter. There's avocado butter out there that's actually not
Really?
bad. Yeah.
I'm going to have to check into that. I like avocados.
So I love, oh man, I've fallen in love with guacamole.
Really?
I have at least a tub of guacamole a week.
So you ever been to that Mexican restaurant, Barbosa's?
Yeah.
Here in town? Like they have that avocado dip. That's the best shit ever. I love that stuff. And then,
Oh, yeah.
and their chips are so awesome too. Even when they're stale, I bring a bag of those chips home and it don't last but a day or two. But if it goes longer than a couple of days, it gets a little stale.
Right.
I'll eat them stale. They taste good. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I love the guacamole. That's definitely my favorite. It's my guacamole on some toast with that plant-based chicken, spicy plant-based chicken with some tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's yes.
The plant-based chicken cannot tell. That's one of the things.
yeah, I could get that, yeah.
The frozen patties. I mean, you're
Yeah.
still, it's just a frozen chicken patty.
Yeah.
I mean, you really cannot tell that it's plant-based.
Well, most of the time, the chicken patties that you get, like, is probably only a quarter chicken anyway.
Right. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that stuff's not good
There's
for
the
you
rest of
anyway.
fillers.
Yeah. And I put that on my toast with some guacamole, a couple of tomatoes. Oh man, that's my go-to meal. That's
Yeah.
my number one right now.
You remember when those was it paninis started getting popular? Man,
Oh,
yeah. There's this lean cuisine. I
heard of those.
never eat like frozen meals or anything like that, but that's one of those things I could go get right now and eat it. That's one of those weird foods. Lean cuisine paninis. Just
Yeah.
pop them in the microwave and they come out and it's just a panini and it's pretty good.
Man, you make me want to get a panini machine myself. Just
I'm
to get,
telling
I want
you,
to start making
I'm
some paninis.
And the toast with avocado, just think of it like on a panini.
That's good.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And do you have any like fake cheese?
Cheese is the only thing I really can't get behind. They have some fake cheese that's out there.
not
I
good.
tried it. I still, it's in my refrigerator. Been sitting there for a while. I tried a little bit just to try it. It's very.
So you just
different.
don't eat cheese then? Or?
I don't eat cheese at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything dairy. I've tested the eggs. I don't think eggs really mess with me too much. I had eggs last weekend after that race.
Yeah.
Didn't affect me at all. So
I love eggs, man. Like I said,
Yeah.
I eat a shit ton of eggs. We
Oh,
eat
yeah.
a bunch of eggs. So Sam's Club is one of my favorite damn stores, and every 2 weeks I go in there, and so they have these bundles of bacon, and I get 2 packages of Wright's bacon, which is 2-pound packages a piece. So it's like 4 pounds
Right.
of bacon. And then they have another 3 pounds of bacon that's the Members Mark brand. You get one of those.
Yeah.
And then sausage, or there's a roll of sausage is 2 pounds. I get one of those. And I get 2 dozen eggs. And that's just, that'll last 2 weeks.
Right.
Like if I'm lucky, it'll last 2 weeks.
Yeah. You got your breakfast, and sometimes, man, that stuff's good for dinner too.
We eat a lot of. That's
I
what
love
we
breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner is my thing.
Oh yeah.
And when my wife figured out that as one of my favorite meals, she's like, perfect. It's not very hard to fix.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't take very much time, and everybody likes it except for the kids.
Yep.
The kids like breakfast again. Now, like we'll add some pancakes in there every now and then for them, but
Oh yeah.
I don't eat pancakes either really often.
I've become a big pancake eater now.
Yeah, yeah.
I
What
mean,
kind of
'cause,
flour do you use?
So I don't use flour. I just buy the the mix.
Yeah.
But you have to watch what you get. I read labels like crazy now. I'll spend over an hour reading labels at
Yeah.
the store, just trying to figure out what has what in
Well, I'll
it.
tell you what, we're gonna be like, so I don't know if it's gonna be this upcoming spring. Over the winter, I'm gonna probably try to figure out some gardening space,
Okay.
and we're gonna start growing our own food.
There you go. Yeah.
Because I can't, man, I like fresh vegetables. I
Mm-hmm.
really love fresh vegetables, and it's very hard to find them that taste like they used to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
then I remembered we didn't buy vegetables from the store. We grew them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, we need to start growing our own, especially tomatoes.
I
Man.
was just about to say tomatoes.
Especially tomato. You ever had like you know farmers markets and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Have you ever gotten a tomato from a farmer's market?
Yeah.
Like have you ever had one from a store that tasted
Yes.
that good?
So I've had one from the store, and it's almost like the texture's not there.
No, it's not. It's like almost
Too
like
much
they've been
water.
frozen.
It's so strange. But I have customers, that give me vegetables and stuff all the time, that they grow their own stuff. And the amount of flavor, the robust taste in a tomato compared to the ones in the store is completely night and day. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And it makes me think, what are they doing at the store? Or, what are the producers that are getting the tomatoes shipped to them? What are they doing to make those tomatoes?
You said customers. Sometimes customers bring you out the vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you guys that don't know, Will is my pest control guy, and we became friends. So he came over here to do some preventative maintenance for what was it, ants, wasps,
spiders.
spiders,
Oh, yeah.
whatever we could get covered under one price, is what we like to take care of. But so you came over here and we got to talking, and you came out here to the garage and saw the podcast studio, and I was like, hey, you want to record a podcast? And so now here we are, friends. So that's exactly why I started the podcast, is because one of the very many reasons was I'm a stay-at-home dad and I don't have any friends, and I watch podcasts all day long. I live, eat, breathe, sleep podcasts and UFOs.
You're like
So,
me with running.
yeah, pretty much.
I do all my research on running, and that's all I do.
And it's a nice outlet. It's nice
Yeah.
to have an outlet. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I was going to talk about that too. Like running as an outlet is a very good, healthy outlet. And also like that endorphin release that you get, like that's addictive.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could get addicted to something healthy, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? If I could get addicted to weightlifting, even at my age, why not? you know, but I'm not going to just for, you know, but anyway,
that
having
addicting
that
feeling.
outlet, yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, because moments up to when I like hours, the whole day, I'm just like, I do not want to go run today. Like
Yeah.
I have that feeling all day long. And David Goggins would say, you know, what would he say? He would say that inner bitch, that inner feeling of not wanting to do it means you got to work even more harder.
Right.
So when it comes to that time at the end of the day when I'm going to be running, I'm just like, here we go. And then you get it out of the way and it's done, and I'm sitting at home, it's over. That feeling right there, and when it's over, that feeling your whole body just went and did all that. That feeling right there is what I strive for, and I love that feeling, because even before doing it, I'm just like, I don't want to do this. It's going to suck. It's going to be hot. It's 95 degrees outside. And then I'm just like, quit listening to that inner bitch. Go do it. Get it done. So that's exactly how I feel after my race, is just that feeling of accomplishment, that it's done, it's out of the way. And
So,
it's almost like my body's vibrating. It's
Right,
weird.
yes.
It's so weird.
Yes. If you ever listen to that very end of the podcast, at the very end, I go, woo, at the end of every podcast.
Really?
And I just did it once, and it was one of those feelings of elation. Like I just got done recording a banger of a podcast, and like before there's a couple minutes lag time before we stop. Once we stop the show to when we stop recording, and as I was taking off my headset, I go, woo, and my wife looks at me. She's like, what? And I was like, man, that was a really good podcast. And as she's out here listening to it back, editing, I heard that, and I was like, hey, clip that out and put it at the end of every podcast. And she's like, why? And I was like, because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So at the end of every podcast, there's a little woo.
I love that.
So
I love the traditions and sticking with what you love doing every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So before every run, I take my wedding ring off, and I take my arm. I don't have them on right now, but I take my armbands off, put them in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's before every race
Yeah.
or every run. And then I listen to one song. It's always my first song every time.
What's the
Iron
song?
Man by Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
Boom. I am Iron Man. Boom. That song right there gets me going every single time. That's the very first song I listen before every race, before every run. And then at the very end of every race, I always look up to Grape. I point up to Grape and God.
Yep.
Let him know that I did the race. It's over with. And it's just that signal up to Grape, like, hey, I'm still thinking of you, buddy.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
That's amazing. I don't have any friends like that. No, I'm kidding. I got lots of friends that would probably, give me a shout out at the end of a race or whatever if I passed away, but they're not here. You are.
Yeah. And that's why I got all my stickers on here. Suicide Prevention Warrior, Not Today.
Hell yeah.
Suicide awareness. I mean, having a good, healthy mental state is very important, I feel like. And
Oh yeah.
trying to block out any of those negativities, like, we were just talking about drinking, negative people. I mean, it could be literally anything that could be bringing you down. Just staying focused and staying positive overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it does. It's having those traditions. It does. Like it helps also, like the routine. Like getting into the routine of doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And those little idiosyncrasies that we all have. If you can find just a couple things, like like you take off your wedding ring, you start your song, and those little things are what make that routine better for you. And like I know that, like, you probably like running at this point, but at the very beginning you probably didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to say I still like running. It still sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it still takes you to that dark place, that I still get that feeling. Even when running, I'm just like, this sucks. I'm going to die. Like,
Yeah.
I've pushed myself so hard this summer. I've passed out a couple times. I've
Oh,
dehydrated
shit.
myself. I've pushed myself.
So there's
too
marathon
hard.
runners, man. Like, and you are a marathon runner, but you guys do push yourselves a lot to like dehydration. I've seen a lot of videos where they just fall out and I mean they get up and finish the race, but like I've seen them shit all over themselves.
I've almost been there. I haven't done it yet. I've almost been there. Though.
But they will keep running. I'm like, you think
Oh,
got
yeah.
shit dripping down your leg, and I'm like, I would give up. I would stop. And that is like, I listen. I would run another day. I would, but no, I would not complete the race like them. But I do admire the people that do, and but there's something like weird about that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish after that. I'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm done. I tapped out.
I've gone down, like I ran 13 miles one time, came back up Ashland, and then passed out right in front of that US Bank.
Yeah.
I mean, I fell to the ground, called my wife to come pick me up, and I sat there and I knew something was wrong because my legs went out. Like they
Yeah.
like I couldn't walk no more.
Yeah.
Like, they were in pain. I fell down and I just started vomiting. And I could not stop vomiting for hours.
Did you end up having to go?
I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital, but I ended up being able to hydrate myself back up. I laid in the
See, when I get that
bathtub and just-
dehydrated, I
yeah.
can't rehydrate. I have to go to the hospital. I
Yeah.
have to get one of them IVs. I've been that dehydrated a couple times.
I didn't want to go to that far. I wanted to see if I could actually do it myself and
Hey,
rehydrate myself, which I
that's
was able
awesome.
to. I sat there in the bathtub with the cold shower, just trying to get myself back and just sipping on water every 15 minutes, not trying to drink too much, but still was drinking too much water, throwing back up. And finally, after a couple hours, it was over with. And I was like, I don't want to do that again. Ended up
See,
doing it
these
again.
days, I
yeah.
cheat.
Yeah.
I take Zofran.
Zofran.
Yeah, it's an anti-nausea medicine.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I got to look
Yeah.
into that.
Dude, it's awesome. So my wife was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
We all got sick. Well, she could not, like, she was vomiting like 12, 13 times. She called the hospital and they were like, no, you can't. You're pregnant. That's not good for you. Come in. We'll give you something to stop
Okay.
nausea. And Zofran.
Zofran.
And it's, I don't have anything. I've heard a couple negative things about it, but I've never actually done any research or anything. But like Zofran, like if the worst I've ever been, ever, you just take one of those and put it underneath your tongue, let it dissolve,
That's cool.
and you're good to go.
I have to look into that.
I took one when I had COVID one
yeah.
'cause I was throwing up when I had COVID.
I ended up figuring out what I was doing wrong, and I haven't done it since.
Yeah.
I haven't actually, gotten to that point of being sick. I knew what I was doing. I was watching, like researching. I was trying to learn from my mistake, and it ended up being I was not eating before my runs.
Yeah.
And now if I go on a long run like I do every Saturday, I will eat something
You
small.
need that fuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will eat something, wait 2 hours, then go run.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat and then go run. That will just make you sick right there. But I like eat, let it sit for a little bit, and then go over run. It does not affect me anymore. So, and then I make sure I'm hydrated. So I'll take a bunch of water with me, my fuel, my water pack, water hydration vest, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then I'll still keep a couple cold frozen water bottles with me too, because by the end of that run, those water bottles are
Yeah.
completely thawed out by then, and they'll still be kind of cool.
Yeah, I use liquid IV.
Those are good too.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use those liquid. Like when I go out and mow the lawn and I come back in, it's a little bit like different when I'm mowing the lawn because it's hot. You got the sun out on you, but I'm just sitting in one spot on the mower, and so my back could get all drenched and I'll
Yeah.
just be sweating, just sitting there. But yeah, I take those liquid IVs and within a couple hours I'm fine.
Yeah.
And so
Wearing light colors too, if you're out in
Yeah.
the sun,
Hey,
it definitely
staying
affects.
covered.
Yeah.
I know it sounds counterproductive, but if you got to wear long sleeves, if you're going to be out in the sun, wear long sleeves. If you have to.
Yeah.
Like I'm so sensitive to the sun. Like I could be outside all day and feel fine, but then there's that moment where my head starts pounding and I just not feeling good.
Right.
And it's been out in the sun too long.
Yeah.
But
Only
usually I'm good at for a couple hours.
Only reason I'm wearing this long sleeve today is it's the last year's marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the second annual coming
Inaugural.
up. Yeah. Yeah. So I really wanted to do the full marathon last year, but I had pulled a quad and I could only get the 13 miles out. So I feel like this has been a whole year of me training, getting
Yeah.
ready for this full marathon.
Hey, you couldn't ask for a better place to do it though.
Mm-hmm.
Like here in St. Joe, we got the Parkway.
Yep.
We got
Ashland.
lots of residential places, but there's
Yeah.
a shit ton of trails around here.
Yes, there really is. They're all over the place. There's one that goes all the way down Pickett, the Southwest Parkway.
I think they
Northwest
just
Parkway.
finished
It's
one
all-
up north a couple of years ago. That's pretty popular
You said up north?
up
Where?
north. I think up there by Pershing School, maybe.
Yes, I think. Yeah, there should be one around there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what it's called, but
I can't remember.
no, you're
I can't
kidding.
remember.
But there is a ton.
There's a couple of them around here too.
There's a park, Mark Youngdale.
Yeah.
You ever been there?
Yeah.
That's a really cool park.
Yeah.
To take your kids biking and stuff like that. There's gravel. There's paved. I actually went there when I was a kid because I lived right around the corner
Yeah.
in 36th and Massaney.
I almost hit a deer out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The 36 in Massaney. And I was just driving down the road and a deer popped out of nowhere and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's
They're
pretty
out there.
Pretty neat though that like that's in the middle of town.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat that we have animals like that in the middle of town. Like we have a family of deer that live right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, do you know that little shopping center, the little mini mall that's right there on the corner?
Yeah. Yep.
So there's actually a trail that goes from there, starts there, goes all the way through those woods back behind Truman and Mark Twain.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it for the longest, and my mom lives right there, so I
Right.
never knew about it. So I hit that all the time. But it goes all the way down to 22nd.
Yeah.
It passes Speedy's right there, goes through the woods.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that they went that far.
Neat.
And then goes all the way to 22nd, and I think it still keeps going.
See,
And
I've
it
lived here
keeps
my
going
whole
west.
life. Didn't know that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I was, and
There's
like I
still-
said, my mom's right there on the corner too, so I
There's
never
still
knew.
areas around this town that I'm finding
Right.
for the first time.
I think
and
those are
it's-
fairly new though.
Yeah.
Yeah, built within the last like 3 or 4 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got that. The city always does these federal grants for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's use it or lose it type of deal. And so, I mean, it's basically, it's not free money, but it's coming from the federal government. Why not?
I think that's why they keep them so well maintained too.
Yeah, it's federal.
Yeah, I think that's why. Because
Nice.
I was thinking that the same, I'm like, why do they, they're constantly working on them.
Yeah.
I've always found there's sections that are, they're remaking the,
Yeah.
repaving
so
it and
what that
everything.
is, that's a use it or lose it deal. There's a bunch of government grants that you can, federal government grants that you can, or dollars, whatever, project dollars, whatever, you can apply for them. And if your city's selected, whatever. But I mean, it's free to apply. Why not? Like,
yeah.
why, if you're trying to beautify your city and trying to, make it nice, why wouldn't you? And so our city leaders do a lot of that stuff.
That's good.
And
I'm glad they do.
they also do a capital improvement. They have a CIP thing here, capital improvement tax. And a lot of their projects are really nice too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
They did a sidewalk all the way around Mosaic and then
Oh, nice.
all the way down Riverside.
Really?
Yeah, that was all CIP.
How
And
far
then
down does it go down
It goes
Riverside?
all the way down Riverside.
Really?
The whole way. Yeah, you could
I need to pay
except
attention
so.
more.
No, I'm wrong on that. It goes all the way down from Mosaic to
36 highway.
Mitchell.
Mitchell?
Stops at Mitchell.
Oh,
No.
it stops at Mitchell.
Yeah, it stops at. So, no, I'm wrong. 'Cause that's a highway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just that Mosaic, in front of Mosaic, and then they started up again from. I'm wanting to say 36 down south.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's all new.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then they also did parts of Pickett
Yes.
on the CIP.
I've gone down that picket, and I crossed the belt. And
Yeah.
I kept going. I could
They
have
did a
gone
whole
all the way
walking
to
trail.
Altec. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a whole walking trail back there.
Yeah.
I believe that walking trail was federal dollars, but all the sidewalk was CIP.
Yeah, that's all nice through there. I've ran that back there behind Altec before, but I haven't actually connected it all together. I've
Yeah.
done it in pieces. There's a really cool thing called St. Joe Fit.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I've heard of it from you.
Yeah, I post a lot of their stuff. I'm
Yeah.
one of their top fans. So I think it's starting back up in September. So September 1st, every week they'll have a new walking trail you can go check out. And all you have to do is take your phone, scan the little QR code.
Yeah.
You don't have to, I mean, you could just go scan the QR code and then you're automatically in for a prize and then you just go home. But what I like to do, they have like a beginner, intermediate, and a challenge.
Yeah.
I call it the will challenge, and I'll try to triple up that main challenge.
Yeah.
So if it's like, say if it's 3 miles on the challenge, I'll do 9 miles, and I'll try to do as much as I can on that trail.
Right.
And then I'll post it, tag St. Joe Fit and everything, and
Oh, yeah.
let everybody know, this is the place to go. Go check it out. You're entered to win a prize. Like they give
yeah.
away really cool things like hats, like yoga mats and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it'd probably be if you're a runner or
Just
even
a walker.
yeah,
I mean,
even a walker,
really,
yeah.
a person that's going out. Yeah, definitely.
Which is not me. I don't. So I have the time to do that now. I would just rather be doing this instead.
Man, time. So I'd never understood how much time it takes to actually put in for this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm hardly playing video games anymore. And which I'm trying to balance that with there too. Cause I try to stay close with my friends and everything.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah.
I love those guys.
That's still decompression time.
Right. And it's very just today I only got like a couple hours to play with them, but I also, had to go pick up my daughter, I had to go to the office real quick. I just little things I had to go knock out and then come see you obviously.
Right.
But I found there's not enough time in the day.
No,
for
there's
it.
really not.
You have to dedicate, because now I have my calendar set up and it's 4 or 5 weeks left until the marathon, and every day on the calendar is something I've got to knock out, like whether it be 6 miles, 8 miles, 9 miles.
Right.
Saturday comes to 18, 20 miles, whatever it may be. I'm trying to knock out all those times, but at the same time, I got to make sure everything at home is fine.
Right.
So it's difficult. Time is the most valuable thing, they say. So
Yeah.
I've really understood that, and it really is. Time is very hard to keep up with right now.
I think it was. I can't remember the name of the movie. Fled. Time is fleeting.
Yeah,
The name of the movie is Fled, I believe.
but check it out.
Time is fleeting. That was one of the things that they said in that movie, and I was like, wow, that's pretty profound. Time is fleeting.
It really
Yeah.
is.
And
I go to bed early, and even when going to bed early,
I don't,
I
man.
still can't get to bed early.
right, yes, exactly. That's my issue. Like
Right.
I'll set out like at 8:00 at night.
Yes.
Like I'll be getting ready for bed. Everybody's ready, and at 1:00 I'm still up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not up that late, but
Well, you
something
got to
will
get up
happen.
and go to work. There's
Right.
a difference, but
there's something will happen though. Like I'll be ready for bed at 8:00, but then I've got to get, my girl's ready for bed too. They got to brush their teeth, or I forgot that I have to
inevitably it
fold
takes
some
an hour,
clothes
yeah.
or whatever it may be. I forgot I got to pick up the room before, or I got to put the food away or something. Something will come up, and then it's 10:00 and I'm like, man, I've already missed 2 hours of sleep. I'm
Yeah.
already behind. And that's what I've found. Even trying to get to bed early is
Yeah.
difficult.
yeah, I have really bad ADHD. And so like during the day, I was looking forward to the kids starting school. Now, school is in session now. I was looking forward to the kids starting school so I could do more podcasting stuff. And I thought, well, I'll have a whole lot more time during the day, which is true. I've got like 5 hours during the day that I can do the podcast. But then again, it's like I'm up at like 6 in the morning and taking the kids to school, taking the wife to work. By the time I get back here, it's like 8:30, and then getting everything ready to go, start podcasting or whatever at 9 o'clock. And I've gotten to the point I'm scheduling now for school hours, but then my brain's like, I'll see something that needs to be done over here.
Right.
So I'll start doing that. And then
Something else will come
I'll get
up.
distracted, and then I'll move on. So at the end of the day, I got a bunch of half-finished projects, and so that's how my days go. And at least in the last week, that's what it's been like.
Oh, yeah.
They started school on Wednesday, and I took the first couple days, and I don't really do much of anything. The first day they went back to school, I mowed the grass because I was home by myself. I had all that time, and I was like, I'm gonna mow the lawn. And then by the time I got to mowing the lawn, I was like, shit, I got to go get the kids.
Yeah.
And I went and got the kids. And then, so that was the first day. The second day, I didn't do a damn thing. Sat inside. I just watched TV all day long and didn't do anything. And the reason why I did that is because I was like, man, I worked my ass off yesterday and now I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so I did respond to a couple emails, sent out a couple emails, but that's it. And then Friday, I was like, as regular busy day. Saturday and Sunday, I didn't have much going on. But Monday, I started actually working on the podcast like I was supposed to be doing
There you go.
before, and getting things done. And that's why I was going to put this out a couple weeks, but then I was like, well, shit, I ain't got nothing going on. Wonder what Will's got going on. So that's why actually you're here, is because like, hey, you're willing to be here, do a podcast with me, and I want to talk to you about that diet, because I was like, that's something that I'll probably never do. Like, I might experiment here and there with, like, see if it tastes good or whatever, but I probably won't do the whole plant-based diet
I would
thing.
definitely try it. Just give it a try. I'm not the person that's going to be like, you got to do it because of the
Right,
animals, you
right.
know, like, but I would definitely just try it out, do it for about a month, and then acclimate yourself back into your regular diet.
Yeah.
See what bothers you too. That's why I figured
Yeah.
out milk and dairy ultimately is what has been
Do you eat
messing me
nuts?
up. I love nuts. I love cashews. I eat
That's one of my
God, cashews are
it's
awesome.
one of my favorite things to snack on. Is nuts. I like peanuts. I like cashews. I like pecans. I
Yeah.
like walnuts.
pistachios are really good too.
Oh, pistachios. Pistachios. I forgot about them.
I'm not big on peanuts and I'm not big on almonds, but I will still have them like in mixed nuts and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But I love cashews. Cashews are so good, and so are pistachios. I
I like the shelled peanuts.
oh
Like,
yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
crack
yeah,
them.
yeah. Yeah, those are good too.
I like
think
those.
those are fresher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
I've also fallen in love with dates. You ever had dates before?
No. Well, I'm sure I've had them, just not recently. So I don't.
Oh man, dates are really, really good.
I think actually I have. They're sometimes in those dried fruit mixes I get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I never knew how really good they were. I don't think I saw them on like TV before, but I actually never had tried them.
dude, have you been to Sam's Club?
Oh yeah, yeah.
They got this strawberry mix there, dude. It's man, I'm gonna have to off the air figure it out, because I gotta ask the wife. They got this strawberry and banana chip mix. It's
Really?
dried strawberries. You ever had them?
Okay, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh man, it's so good. It's that mix itself is so good. But then it's got dried strawberries, dried banana chips, and some kind of nuts.
That sounds good.
And it is really good. I was like, and now if you're not a health food fanatic, even you just like sweets,
Right.
You'll like it, and it's healthy for you. So why not?
My wife had just picked up some granola with some dried strawberries in it. I haven't
yeah.
tried it yet, but it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
good. Yeah, granola. I love granola.
I love
almonds,
strawberries.
or not almonds. Oatmeal. So
Yeah.
I've been big on oatmeal now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of oatmeal. I made a smoothie today.
I got a lot of oatmeal in there, but I don't eat much of it.
Smoothies and like salads that takes a little bit longer to like prepare and everything.
So how do you make your smoothies?
So I have one of those magic bullets. I've had it for years. Those are really cool.
We got a big magic bullet. We like, so you know the
oh, you got
Ninja,
the Jumbo? Yeah.
What did they call them things? A mixer? The
processor?
no,
Food
processor,
processor?
but
Yeah.
it's like a mixer. It's a drink, all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's Ninja, so it's a big thing too.
You got the cool one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a little mini bullet. Yeah.
we have one of those too. It just old.
Yeah, I need to get a big one because I need to make more, so I have, I can make a bunch and then have like split it up and have it for days.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've found that, chia seeds are, chia seeds. You ever had chia seeds before?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I put them in my drinks all the time. I put them in my smoothies, by Powerades and stuff, and you have to let it sit there for like 10, 15 minutes. But what it does is they expand too.
Yeah.
So chia seeds are really cool.
It made me think of poppy seeds.
What's that?
That made me think of poppy seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds.
Yeah. You ever had like lemon poppy seeds?
Yeah, I've had them. I haven't had just the seeds though.
Oh man, it's good.
Yeah, I have to look into those.
No, I don't know about the seeds by themselves.
Right. No,
the
no,
lemon
yeah.
poppy seed stuff, like that's like my wife's favorite, like muffin, lemon poppy seed muffins. And you were just talking about chia seeds and made me think of lemon poppy seed.
Now you got me thinking of that episode of Seinfeld with the poppy seeds. You ever seen? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So Elaine, I'm gonna say this real quick. Elaine was trying to figure out why she kept failing this drug test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it turns out the poppy seeds were coming up as an opium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was like freaking out trying to get some clean pee. And she ends up getting Seinfeld's mother to pee for her. And it turns out she couldn't go on the trip anyway because they said that you have the body of a 60-year-old woman. Like, you can't go with us on this trip.
Right.
Like, and she's in there going, oh, no. Like, yeah, I love Seinfeld. So sorry to go off on track
Oh,
there.
yeah, you're fine. You're fine. That's
I
funny,
love
though.
Seinfeld. I find everything in my day. It's like, oh, that's an episode of Seinfeld.
It's a show about nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I find like little things. I'm like, yeah, that's an episode of Seinfeld.
And it could be, really,
Right.
for real. Like right now, man, these times are weird that we're living in. Holy shit.
Right?
Like, man, if you've seen the Hunger Games,
Mm-hmm.
you know the politics that goes on right now. That's what it reminds me of, the Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah.
It's so weird and just so.
I find it entertaining.
That's why it's not supposed to be entertaining.
It's
No,
not supposed
it's
to.
not.
It's supposed to be serious, but it also, I feel like it's supposed to be kind of like religion is supposed to be personal and
Yeah.
it's supposed to be private.
Yes.
So that's why I try to like, with politics, I try to like, how do I say this? I try to keep it a mystery with people. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Will's a liberal. No, I'm not. Then you're a conservative. No, I'm not. Like you'll try to guess, but you probably won't get it.
Who
Only
are you
people that really
voting
know
for?
me
I'm
what
voting
yeah.
for me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I like there's things I agree on both sides. So
Yeah.
I try not to focus on anything like, and I'm not going to be the person that's going out
that's
to
what you
protest
find.
anything. Yeah.
That's what you find out, like mostly out in the real world. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what you find is people that lean not right, not left, but more in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
and then they can see the both sides.
Yeah.
But man, you get online and it is just so ridiculous. And then the news, you watch it. Like, have you been watching the news over the last couple of weeks? I can't watch the news because it repeats the same damn story all day
Oh
long.
yeah.
And it's
sad.
always this guy said this about this person and that guy said this about this person, but this guy over here said this about this guy, and you wouldn't believe what this guy said.
Money.
It's stupid.
I think it's all money.
Stupid.
And that's why I feel like it's entertaining to me because both sides are just making a profit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've thought about this for years. I feel like
Or
they're
the
all
monkey in the middle, man.
and they're all working together.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
the right
that's-
hand
but-
washes the left.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like the what am I trying to say?
Conspiracy theorist.
It's not conspiracy theories.
That's what
but
the left would call you.
Yeah, I just feel like I said, we're being used. They're just trying to get money out of us.
I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
don't
so?
think it's about the money.
I feel like it's all about the money.
I don't think it's about not with what the fuck money are they going to get out of me?
True, but they're getting money out of everybody else.
Who are they getting money from? The government doesn't get money from us. The federal government doesn't. Our state government does.
The donors and stuff like that.
But who are they?
They're out there.
Billionaires. And
Billionaires,
companies.
yeah. I feel like there's still people like us though that are out there still providing money to them.
Yeah, I don't have none.
Yeah, I'm not us, no, but like normal people out there, you know, we're normal people, yes, but I'm talking about like just
So
the hardcore political people that are like,
I agree
that's what
with
I
that.
feel like, you know.
So, like Robert Kennedy Jr., that's where all his money's coming from. Like Donald Trump's getting money from like huge corporations.
Oh yeah,
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
She's getting huge money from
Oh yeah, and I know
large
people that are
corporations.
donating. I
Right.
know to
Like,
both
why?
sides
Why?
because they feel
That's
like
the
they
thing,
need their
like-
person to be the winner. Like I feel like
But that's fine. That they're gonna win or lose without your dollar.
exactly. That's why I think they're all working together. That's my idea. I don't know. That's why I try just I look at politics as just it's entertaining right now.
Yeah, I don't. The federal politics on the federal level. That like, I try to as much as I can try to pay attention to the local politics, but even that in the last couple of years has been just crazy.
Right. I try to I can't even I need to start actually paying more attention to the local politics.
So anybody out there that complains about the politicians that we have on the federal stage, they listen, you all can change that. We can vote in new people. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like, and it starts at the local level. If
Yeah.
you don't like what's going on in your home, in your city, you can change that. You can vote new judges.
Yeah.
You can vote new prosecutors. You can vote, new mayors. You can vote new governors. Start local, get your own house in order, and then work your way out.
Yeah.
And that's how the American politics. That's how American politics was built. Local, out to federal. If you pay attention to your local stuff, if you vote in the judges, if you pay attention, is this judge doing a good job? Is this prosecutor doing a good job? Is this governor doing a good job? You can vote all those people in. And those are the people. And the representatives, the state representatives, we get to vote for those too.
Yep.
Those people are who do your federal work for you. Those people are who are representing you because we have a representative government,
Yeah.
and that's who you should be paying attention to, your local people, and then work out to federal.
I agree.
And if more people did that, there'd be no need to bitch about the president because the president wouldn't matter.
Right.
That's the president's job is to deal with the federal shit.
Yep.
That's what the president does.
I agree.
Like we do not need him to worry about, crime on our streets. We need our local government to worry about that.
I was just about to say I was really, really pulling for this girl. Oh, I'm not gonna say her name. So she was running for Missouri Secretary of State. Like I said, I'm not going to say her name, but she was extremely outspoken.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were upset with her, with the stuff that she was saying. But I loved her social media presence on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Her outspokenness really caught me. She's a beautiful lady too. And I was really pulling for her. I was sending her stuff to everybody like, dude, she's awesome. She could be like our next governor. Like she's so cool. And everybody was like, yep, I'm voting for her too. But she didn't win. She didn't win the Secretary of State, Missouri Secretary of State. But I liked her just because of her social media presence.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she's really cool. She caught me off guard one day with the things she was saying. I was like, whoa, that is awesome. Okay. And yeah, she's a runner too. Like she was running in her video.
Yeah.
And she had, the runner's glasses, the whole setup. So I'm like, man, like that is so cool.
Have you seen any of the political commercials that are on TV?
Oh man, I try not to watch.
Oh, they're horrible. They're horrible. Like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I watch all the baseball games. And so Kansas City Royals.
Right.
So sometimes I have no choice but to see the political ads. And
Yeah.
they're so ridiculous. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, I'm like, yeah, you're making it blatantly obvious that you're in Missouri here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're in the middle of a field burning books. It's ridiculous. It's wild.
That's crazy.
It's wild. It's crazy.
Yeah. I can't get behind those, like some of those ads that they put out. There was one that caught me like really off guard, and it was this was back actually in 2020, and I was at my cousin's house, and he had Hulu on, and with Hulu ads, they repeat themselves.
Oh, yeah, ridiculous.
Over and over and
Yeah.
over real bad. I don't have Hulu, so I didn't know about how bad the advertising was. But every time this ad would come up, it was like blowing my mind. Like they're literally trying to scare you into voting for the other person. And it was Trump, but they would have these huge mushroom clouds behind them and military helicopters and World War behind them. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, man, like you guys are really pushing for this. Like, and it was freaking me out.
Do you ever wonder if they're talking this shit into existence?
Could be.
You ever wonder about that?
I haven't, no.
Like two people going at it for federal office, and one starts talking about this certain thing, and then people go start doing that certain thing.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. It's pretty wild to think about. The more they talk about World War III at that level, are they going to talk that shit into existence or what?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild.
I honestly, I think they're just scare tactics. I mean, they're trying to get that old person watching that's, going to be that swing vote and like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want, that to happen. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it's just scare tactics.
I think I feel the same way
Right.
myself with the American politicians, but like with now geopolitics, now I see all geopolitically all the shit going on in UK right now. Oh my God.
I know. I've got friends over there.
I cannot. I could not imagine this happening in my lifetime.
I know.
It's insane.
And I feel like if it's happening over there, eventually it's going to happen here. Like,
No. So
it is
like,
happening. Yeah, because in New York and
sort of.
Yeah,
Sort
not
of.
as bad,
Yeah,
but
I talk about it all the time because, the podcast, sometimes we self-censor ourselves on the podcast because we don't want to either be fired or kicked off YouTube or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we self-censor ourselves, but over in the UK, they've never had freedom of expression.
Right.
There.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So
I just saw someone was just jailed for years. I don't know how long, but I knew it was years
they've got some
for
semblance.
Facebook posts.
Yes, that's
Like, I mean, you can't go to jail here for Facebook. Like,
it kind of depends. They can't.
They can.
Making terroristic threats.
Yeah,
will get
I've
you
heard
down.
that too. A guy got in trouble up here, actually, in my neighborhood. I'm not going to really get into details, but he said that he's going to go into the school one way or another on the first day for his son's
Yeah.
school. I'm like, man, you can't be posting that stuff. Like, first of all, it's a school.
Right.
I mean, you can't be making threats like that. Like, yeah, that's taking it too far.
I do see some of the issues that are a blind spot for educators,
Right.
especially the administrators. So all our schools are on lockdown all the time. You can't get in those schools.
Right.
Why is it that way? And they say the safety of the students. And I'm like, okay, who are you trying to keep them safe from? Because like in my experience, like they get harmed more in school than they do at home sometimes.
Yeah.
And like who's protecting them from the people inside the school? And that's where, I butt heads with an administrator here, and I was like, listen, I'm not trying to climb up your ass and tell you how to do your job. I just want to know, are you doing your job? That's all
Yeah.
I want to know. And I have a few questions that are safety oriented. And if you could just answer those questions, I'll be on my way.
Right.
You know, and they couldn't give me the answers that I needed. And I'm like, so okay, until my curiosity can be satisfied, I got to take my kid home.
That's crossed my mind many times. What if shit does hit the fan? They're going to go on lockdown. How am I going to get my kid out?
Yeah.
I've thought about that 100 times.
You can't.
You can't. They have your kid now.
Yeah.
That scares the hell out of me too. Like, okay, now they have my kid. Are they going to keep my kid forever? Like, or am I going to get my kid back? Like,
right.
That scares the hell out of me if shit actually went crazy, like.
But they say that, man, I understand that part of it.
Conspiracy theory.
I understand, like, safety. Like, if something does happen, they have to lock the school down until it's safe.
Right.
Because it could get more people hurt if they don't. So I understand that also, that aspect. But it's still, I mean, if something like that was going on at the school, I'd be there.
Well, I'm talking about at a world event or like...
a world event?
Yeah, like I'm talking like World War III. Say if World War III broke out or there was a civil war, how am I going to get my kid out?
I don't think we'd have to worry about that here.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, in the state of Missouri?
Not here in Missouri, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Now in the coastal areas, maybe.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like I think they call come get your kids, come get them now.
Yeah.
9/11. Do you remember 9/11?
Yeah. So I remember exactly where I was at.
We were sent home that day.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't send us home.
They didn't send you guys home?
No. I don't think we were there all day long.
I was at that Second Chance High School.
Yo, you were in high school?
I was in that.
I was in.
It wasn't high school. It was I can't remember what they call it. It was a Second Chance High School where naughty kids go.
I was in the 5th grade, and we were there all day. And I remember we had a program or something going on that day, and it was for the American flag of all things. We were supposed to lower the American flag, raise it back up, or something like that, and it was not supposed to be for 9/11. It was just because it was like the first day of school. We had a program going on.
Yeah.
And we all went outside and we raised the flag, whatever. And everybody was talking about the Pentagon, blah, 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 like the towers. And I'm just sitting there like, I had no clue what it even was.
Yeah.
I remember my mom telling me on the way to school, because we heard it over the radio.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, my mom was telling me a plane had hit those towers. That's so serious. And I kept thinking like, okay, so in my mind, I'm thinking of just a small little airplane hitting the tower. I'm like, okay, someone messed up, blah, 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 blah. But then throughout the rest of the day, everybody's talking about it's terrorists and everything going on. That scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Yeah, the significance. I was like, shit. I was like 16, 15. Mm-hmm. So I was like 15. The full gravity of the situation didn't hit me all at once.
Right.
It kind of shocked me at first, and I didn't understand the full weight of what was happening. I understood that I thought it was an accident at first.
Yep, me too.
And so I was like, oh shit, this is terrible. But then like less than 5 minutes later, terrorist attack. And I was like, oh wow. And then even then it still didn't register like how serious that is. Mm-hmm. And then I was sent home from school by administrators. It's like I said, it's Second Chance High School. Think of like what Webster is now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I was going to one of those schools, and they let us out, and I got home, and it was on CNN. Mm-hmm. It was on repeat all day.
Yeah.
And slowly over the course of the afternoon, I was like in shock. I didn't know where my mom was. My mom was with my stepdad, who was a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver. They were supposed to be in New York that day. And
wow,
I couldn't get a hold of my mom.
Dang.
And I didn't talk to my mom for like, I don't know, it's like 5 or 6 hours.
Wow. So,
and
I bet you're freaking out.
I was like low key freaking out. I wasn't like freaking out because I knew that if her phone was off, it wouldn't have rang. It just go right to voicemail. She had one of those, giant Nokia phones back in '01. So, but I was upset that I couldn't get a hold of her. But later on that night, she had called and let us know, like, she was clear on the other side of the country. They were in California. So I was like, okay, you're all right. And so, yeah, I didn't know where my mom was.
Man.
And later on, like, as the day progressed, man, I got friends in the military, and
We went to war right after that.
right. And like some of the, like a buddy of mine was at Camp Lejeune, and he called home. He was like, we're shipping out this afternoon. And it was like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't resonate with me until like later on that night, when I saw people freaking out at the gas stations.
Yeah.
We went to a gas station and it was lined all the way back like a good 100 yards.
Yeah.
Just to get into the gas station. I'd never in my life seen something like that.
I've never seen anything like that. I didn't. I stayed home after that, so I didn't experience anything like
Well,
that.
we were low on gas.
Yeah.
So we had to go get
Yeah,
gas. So,
yeah.
and like I said, I'd never seen anything like that. And still to this day, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
You don't, I assume if we ever go back to war or do something like, if something crazy happens again, I'm assuming that people will go straight to the gas station, fill up their tanks.
Well, yeah. There's a refinery in Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We'd
so-
still be fine.
Yeah.
I still see people freaking out though.
I do too. Yeah. Maybe not over gas, but something. You remember toilet
Food.
paper
Oh my God,
during
dude.
COVID? Yeah, during the COVID lockdowns, we could never get. Now, see, we didn't have to worry about toilet paper because my mother-in-law ordered us a whole big box of toilet paper that last us like 6 months.
Oh, wow. So,
So-
you were good.
Yeah, she ordered it online and had it mailed to us. So we didn't have to worry about toilet paper for a while. But yeah, in the stores, like, you couldn't find hand
I
sanitizer
couldn't
for the
even
longest
understand the
time.
toilet paper thing. Still don't understand how.
I don't understand it either.
Why did COVID have to affect that? I didn't really get that.
Why did people hoard toilet paper of all things?
Oh, they still are.
Like,
I have customers.
Like, why?
I have
Why?
hundreds of thousands of customers, and they still have thousands of
If
toilet
the
papers.
proverbial shit hits the fan, they want to be able to make sure that
Yeah.
there's no shit on their fanny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like I said, to this day, it's 2024.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years, or I still think it didn't hit us until like the middle of 2020.
Yeah.
Because it was like
It started in 2019, so yeah, 2020.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's been about 4 years. I still like because I got to spray the whole
hearing
house.
about it. We were hearing about COVID in November-ish.
But it didn't we didn't actually go on lockdown until like what March,
Yeah, it was like
April.
it was like mid 2020.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's been 4 years, 3.5, whatever it may be. People still have
I can't believe the place.
stockpiles of toilet paper.
I can't believe that we locked down like that, man. I've never seen anything like that. I was seeing videos of people on go-karts.
Yeah.
In Seattle. No traffic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they were like, hey, like, this is probably illegal, but nobody's out here.
I think as Americans, we should have been out. We shouldn't. I mean, we could still. I mean,
were.
I know, but I heard people getting pulled over by
No
police.
shit.
Yeah, and what are you doing out? You're supposed to be at home. It's on lockdown. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're America. We're in America. We're Americans. We can be out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's our God-given right.
That's so
We're
weird.
supposed to be free.
That
That
is
pissed
so
me
weird.
off so bad.
It's so weird that people are willing to go along with
Mm-hmm.
that, though.
And I remember whenever we first went on the lockdown, I told everybody we were going to have vaccines next. I was the person that said, do not do it. I know it's coming. Do not take that vaccine.
Where were you at when I got one? I got that vaccine, and then shortly after my my middle kid, shortly after he got his, they announced that, hey, there might be a problem. And
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a bitch. They got me.
I knew that was coming. People were telling me, "Oh, you're crazy. They're not going to make vaccines for it." What happened? Month 2 later? Well, we got vaccines. We're rolling them out. I was like, "There you go."
I'm actually not afraid of them. So it's for me. I couldn't come up with a reason not to get it.
Right.
I've never had a vaccine injury. I've never had adverse reactions.
Mm-hmm.
None of that stuff. I've had a flu vaccine before, and the worst thing, I got a cold from it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I haven't had the flu since I was like 11.
Right.
And so when I thought about that, I was like, wait a minute, do I really need this vaccine? Because I've there's a lot of people that have never had the flu.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're young and you're healthy, chances are it's not the flu,
Right.
and if you're young and you're healthy, the flu is like it's like an amped up cold.
Yeah. I go
Like if I got the flu now, it would probably be vomiting, sweating,
Mm-hmm.
The typical flu stuff. But I'm fairly young, fairly healthy. It's probably not deadly.
we were labeled essential, so we were still
Oh,
going.
ain't that some bullshit?
I still wanted to go out there and work. I
Yeah.
didn't want to be locked up and at my house. I still wanted to get out
But
there.
all the people that build, all the people that make, and I'm not saying, I don't even know how much you make, but all the people that are the little men on the totem pole, make less than $100,000 a year, but all essential.
yeah.
The people that
I saw
make over $100,000 a year,
Not
none
essential.
of
Yeah.
them were essential. Why is that pay disparity like that? Why aren't you making over $100,000?
Yeah, and like I said, I was
You may
labeled
be.
as
I don't know how much you make.
No, you're good. We were labeled essential, so I was still going to houses.
Yeah,
I was still going out there. Was not vaccinated.
yeah.
Never got it. Never affected me.
I got COVID once. I felt like I was hit by a Mack truck
Yeah.
for about 2 days.
And see, you got the vaccine.
Yeah, I can't. So I don't know.
Isn't that weird?
Well, no.
I never got it.
So
Never
vaccine doesn't prevent transmission, even with the flu. Even with the flu vaccine, flu vaccine actually doesn't work most of the time.
I haven't had a flu vaccine since I was in high school.
Yeah. See, I haven't had the flu since I was 11.
Right.
So it's like I think I was quite a bit younger than 11. I was a kid when I had the flu. I remember I had the flu because it was the worst I'd ever felt in my life. And to this day, there's only been one time I felt worse, and it was not illness related. So it was injury related. But I when I got COVID, I wasn't even thinking the vaccine could prevent it. Mm-hmm. What I was thinking is like, well, maybe it won't be that bad.
Right.
Maybe it won't be as bad. But I just couldn't come up with a reason not to get one. I've never had any injuries, never had any, but I did get a vaccine injury with that one.
Yeah.
My 30 days, exactly 30 days after my first shot, it felt like my arm was going to fall off. It felt like my arm had disconnected from this joint and was just hanging there. And
That's wild.
it really, really hurt. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor asked if I got a vaccine. And I said, yeah, it was been about a month ago. And he said, oh, okay. And that was it. That was it. That was it. He didn't
explain to you
Nope,
nothing. Oh, see. Yeah. Yeah. We could go into
Well,
it. I
thanks,
just
Doc.
like, I
You're
don't
the one
know,
that told
man.
me to get one. But,
Right?
It's,
Isn't that weird? I don't know. It's like I said, I've only been sick once in the last couple of years, but I do a lot of running. So I feel like boosting my immune system from the running too.
Yeah.
Because those like last winter, I got sick, stuffy nose,
Yeah.
running and stuff. I went out and ran. The next day I was fine.
Sudafed, man. That stuff that you can't get behind, it's behind the counter.
Uh-huh.
You got to use your ID, Sudafed.
Yeah. Okay.
When you got a head cold, man, you want something, you go,
Right. I didn't take any medicine either.
but don't run on it, man. 'Cause
Right. I think the medicine was the running. I feel like that's
That,
what
yeah.
it
So you get your heart rate up, and it opens shit up, and absolutely that, especially out in that like winter time.
it was winter, yeah. So it was like, below freezing. So it was around like, 20 something degrees. And I went out and ran 4 miles. It was the very next day that runny nose was gone.
Yeah,
that
when I'm
headache was
sick-
gone. It was weird.
When I'm sick, got a head cold. I 10, 15 minutes outside, man. I just go outside.
Yeah.
And get that cold air. It helps open up them passages.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
it starts my nose running like a faucet. But
I feel that exercise is the one of the best medicines.
I agree, except I know that exercise is one of the best medicine, but I'm not a practitioner.
Just a little bit at a time. And even walking is a huge,
Now, I do walk.
huge
I
exercise.
walk probably at least 5 miles a day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Walking
And
is big.
and that's just my everyday. Like I have a pedometer on
There you
my
go.
watch here.
Yeah.
And it's at least 5 miles every day. Just
There you go.
normal walking and being with the kids and doing things with the kids, taking them to school, dropping them off, walking around the stores, going to work, whatever. I don't work, but we have a side gig at night. I help with that, so it's like 5 miles a day I get in.
Walking is really, really good. And my grandfather, who lives down in Arizona, he doesn't like how much I'm running. He gives me shit all the time. He tells me I'm running too much. I went down there and saw him before the Super Bowl this past February, and I ran 9 miles, came back. And you're running too much. You shouldn't
No
be running
way.
like. Yeah, oh yeah. My grandpa is the most negative person right now towards me on this
Wow.
running, and
Really?
I don't know if it's partly because he's just trying to look out for my
Health.
long-term health.
Lungs,
Yeah, my knees. He tells me all the time, you're gonna lose your knees by the time you're 40. Like I'm just
You should tell him. You should be like, "That's all right. I can get new ones."
right. Exactly. Yeah. He probably gives me the most shit.
Some really cool stuff with stem cells these days. You can have them stem cell treatments for your
Oh, yeah.
knees, and probably within 5 to 10 years, they'll be able to completely rejuvenate that shit.
Yeah.
like a lizard's tail. Man.
You just grow right back. Right.
right.
Yeah. He actually is real big on the walking.
Yeah.
He's like, you should be walking. You should be doing that more. And this past marathon, or not the marathon, but the Olympics,
Yeah.
I thought it was the goofiest thing in the world to have those runners in the Olympics. I thought it was more goofier than the breakdancing. I think they should bring back the breakdancing because Ray Gun.
Yeah.
I think that was just the little. I feel like that just collapsed everything.
Yeah.
Her goofiness, and you know what I mean. I just don't feel like she was a good breakdancer. They should bring back the breakdancing.
Yeah,
They shouldn't just completely get rid of it from one person.
There are some really good break dancers.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah.
I saw the rest of them. They were really good.
I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying much attention to the Olympics this year, and I'll tell you why. Has nothing to do with politics. Has nothing to do with social shit. Has everything to do with I just didn't have the time.
Oh yeah.
Like so being a stay-at-home dad. Your wife's a stay-at-home mom, right?
No.
No, she works.
Yep.
Okay, so
She's a supervisor at Starbucks, actually.
it's one of my favorite places.
Oh yeah.
I love that place.
That's why I wanted to see if you wanted. I forgot to bring you something,
I'm
man.
drinking Starbucks. We make it here at home.
Right.
I even grind my own beans.
Oh, there you go. That's the way to do it.
But so being a stay-at-home dad, it's very boring at times, but most of the time it's nonstop just doing for other people.
Yep.
And I very rarely had time for myself. So every day I would make time for myself at the sacrifice of something else. So most of the time during the summertime, it was at the sacrifice of sleep. I would wait till everybody goes to bed at night and stay up a couple hours and get some peace and stuff. But then now that school started, that's all changing a little bit. But being a stay-at-home dad, everybody thinks you have all the time in the world. I'm like, I'm lucky if I have a couple hours a week to where I can devote just to my stuff.
Right.
And now that school started, the youngest is in kindergarten, and all day at school. Like it's a very, it's a different kind of process that I'm going through now. I've only been, this is my first full week of having everybody gone during the day. So it's a very, it's a transition.
Right.
It's weird, but I still don't have very much time because when I come home, I got things to do at the house,
Yep.
picking up, cleaning up, and I got to do this for this person, do that for that person. I got to pay bills. I got to do this. And then when I come out here and turn on the computer, I got several emails I got to respond to. And even then I don't get to everybody. And then I feel horrible that I don't get to everybody, but they don't know I did, it takes them a week to get back to me too. So it's like, whatever. But everybody thinks you have all this time.
Yeah.
And in reality, you don't have a whole lot of time, especially with multiple children.
Yep.
And explaining that to people when, because I used to get a lot of phone calls that want me to do this for this person, want me to do that for that person outside of my home. And eventually, is like my wife had to intercept and be like, no, because I was just nonstop doing for everybody else.
Right.
And then like at the end of the day, there was nothing left for me. And so I had to make myself a priority.
Yeah.
And when I started doing that, I thought that they're going to be pissed off. Nope. Everybody's just fine.
Yeah.
They're doing just fine without me. So maybe I
good.
didn't have to work myself up after all.
Right.
But,
yeah, I definitely found I made sure I was going to watch the marathons.
Yeah.
Social media presence. If I'm on Facebook and I see you and I see how hard you're working, I'm going to make time to watch you.
Absolutely.
And the two biggest people was a female and a male. I was more into Gerda Stein. She was running for, I believe it was South Africa. And she was absolutely amazing. How watching her was I enjoyed watching the females more than the males, and the marathon times were at 1 a.m.
Right.
on Saturday and Sunday, males and the females.
So what time is that? France, like 7 hours ahead or something.
I think so. Yeah, something like that. So they were early in the morning, and we were late at night.
Yeah.
And like I said, I put an alarm on my phone. I had it programmed, ready to go. And then the guy's name, Iliad, I think his name's Iliad Kipchoge, and he was running from like Nigeria or something like that.
Yeah.
They were both social media presence were big, so I wanted to watch them. I was so stoked to watch them. Iliad Kipchoge, it was his very first did not finish.
Oh.
Very first time. And he won the last two ones.
Yeah.
He took gold the last two times. And, watching that, it's just like you get to learn. You get to learn and why they messed up and see how they actually, their journey of what happened.
Right.
And then Gerda Stein, she got like 30, 40th place or something like that. But just to see her, how hard she pushed and everything, and she got to finish, like it was really cool. Watching the women was actually more entertaining. It really was. And I think it was because the winner of the males, he had such a stride. Yeah, he was way ahead of the pack, and then there was this huge group that was following him that was minutes behind.
Right.
So the women were super competitive towards the end.
That's awesome.
They were
booking it.
yeah, they were trying to push each other. It was really
No
cool.
kidding.
Yeah, their arms are like trying to lock up and trying to move. Like it was
That's
so
awesome.
cool watching that. So I don't know. I liked watching it. I just wanted to see
It's like
their
a train wreck. You
experience.
can't look away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I enjoyed watching it, and I wanted to watch it so bad, is because I wanted to see how the Olympians do it.
Right.
I wanted to see
Right.
what their tricks were, what their anything I could pull from it. And one of the biggest things I saw, your left hand stays hotter than your right hand.
Yeah.
Did you know
Yeah.
that?
No.
It's because it's closer to your heart.
I could just imagine
That
yeah.
main blood vessel going there. So I was watching what they were doing. They were holding the ice pack in their left hand. Like they go to grab the ice bag and they're just holding in their hand. They hold, pass it off to the next person, let it hold in their hand, put it on their neck. And they had the males, one of the males from the race before, and he was one of the, I think he took like third or fourth. He was one of the guys from the U.S., but he was commentating for the women's marathon. So he started to explain why they do that. And I never knew that your left hand stays warmer than your right because it's so close to your heart.
I could never imagine like it would make that big of a difference.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
I couldn't imagine that. Like, hey, put an ice pack in your hand to cool your whole body down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
seems like nonsense to me, but
I would have never known that if I didn't watch it.
Right. Now I would have never known that had you not watched it.
Yeah.
So we're all learning.
Yeah, just pulling anything I could, because I know it's coming up.
I like the Winter Olympics. I can get into that because I like the curling.
Curling's fun. Yeah,
I love that. I love watching that. Like it's so ridiculous. And like
it's like shuffleboard. I love shuffleboard.
Like the American team looks like a bunch of bowlers. So and I mean that's perfect. I absolutely love that. I love curling and I love
it's more skill
snowboarding.
It's more skill than it is like actual physical endurance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bowling.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Snowboarding's cool too.
I like
that's
snowboarding,
more physical, I feel
like. I've only snowboarded one time. It didn't work out, but
I've never snowboarded.
Yeah,
never skied either.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Now I say I only did it once, but like it was a whole day.
Right.
Like we were messing around with a whole day. But it's not for me. At the end of that day, I was so wore out.
Yeah.
It's like a full body workout.
It really is. Yeah.
And I've never fallen down so much.
Wow.
But thankfully I was on snow, so I didn't hurt myself. But
I'm trying to think anything from the Winter Olympics. I like they do like they ski and then they shoot the 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
What is that called?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but that one
competitive
that's pretty,
shooting is some
that's really cool. I like watching that.
I like the slalom races where the ski races downhill. Where they go back and forth.
Oh,
that's pretty nice.
Oh, yeah. They have to go through the flags. Yeah. That's cool.
I remember when I was a kid watching. There's this. I think it was a snowboarder actually. Peekaboo Street.
Never heard of him.
She was a girl.
Oh, okay.
Like I believe she did that slalom and also snowboarding. I'm not sure, but I remember when I was a kid.
Right.
That's originally what got me into winter sports was because that chick, and she's got a weird name, Peekaboo Street.
Right.
So I latched on to that and I was like, hey, check this out. And then when I got older, I was like in my late 20s, I was sitting down watching the Winter Olympics just out of the blue. And then curling came on and I was addicted. I watched that. I got up in the middle of the night to watch curling. You know?
Yeah. Got to make time, right?
It's weird.
I really liked Shaun White.
Yes.
Shaun White. He was a snowboarder and
I think he did the X
skateboarder.
Games.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he did X Games. He did like I said, he did the snowboarding and the skateboarding, which I thought was really cool to be able to do both.
Yeah, and it's two very different things as well.
Oh yeah,
like
completely different.
You just got to use your whole body when you're. It's similar, sort of, but like I bet snowboarding is way more physical. I bet it's way more physical.
What I really like to watch too was the surfing this year. Surfing was so freaking cool.
Dude, I would love. I would get into surfing. Like not me, but I would get into watching it. Like because man, you remember Point Break back in the day? That movie Point Break. You gotta watch it. They remade it too. You gotta watch it.
Is that like just about surfing?
Sorta.
Yeah.
It's about bank robbing.
Bank robbery. Yeah, I think I've seen it. Who all's in it?
It's Keanu Reeves and Roadhouse. What's that guy's name? Patrick Swayze.
Roadhouse. Yeah, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
I need to go watch that. maybe I'm thinking of another movie with about bank robbers. It has the guy that plays Batman, Robert De Niro, and then who's the guy that plays Batman back in the day?
Michael Keaton.
Is that Michael Keaton? No. He has Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
He had the long hair in that movie.
I don't know.
You know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
They robbed banks. It had Robert De Niro. They were bank robbers. And I heard police officers in training,
Yeah.
they watched those scenes because it was so well done.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that movie. I'm going to look it up now.
So I'm one of those. I like Beverly Hills Cop. So that's one of those. That's one of those movies that you kind of. That's as close to bank robbing as I could get.
Beverly Hills Cops.
The things that Axel Foley does. I've heard of it, but never seen it.
It's good.
Never seen
Really,
it.
I need to go watch Point Blank now.
Yeah, they redid it actually. It's I don't even know who's in the second one. I've never seen it, but
Really?
yeah, the original's pretty great. I used to watch it all the time, but it's an old movie.
One of my favorite movies of surfing when I grew up was called Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
Nope.
It was a Disney movie. And whenever that movie came on, I was watching it, no matter what. That was one of my favorite movies to watch, Johnny Tsunami.
Oh shit. Well, and man, it feels like we're gonna cut this
know,
off in the middle of a conversation.
We could go all
but
day. No, it's good.
I've got a lot of shit to do.
You're good, buddy. No, you're good. You got to find time, right?
Right.
Time is fleeting.
Exactly. So we got this side gig at night. We go. I don't sell censorship, right? We go and do. So my wife, it's her job, her second job, and I'm actually able to go in and help her.
Oh, nice.
So I go and do my part, and then she goes and does her part. So that way we both stay home with one of us can be home with the kids.
That's good. Yeah.
But just a couple hours a night, it pays as much as a full-time job. So
There you go.
I mean, might as well. It was
Yeah, you can't beat that.
yes, can't beat it at all. Not with this economy,
Right. And that's another thing, watching her, having someone watch the kid. That's what's hard.
Oh yeah, and I tell you what, it's not for everybody, but it saved us so much money. Me staying home with the kids, and we had at one time 3 kids here at one time. Like 2 of them were in school, and then I had a baby, and it is difficult, man. A lot of people, like stay-at-home moms, a lot of people give them shit for having a dirty house. Like, I mean, you just saw my house. It's not dirty, but it's lived in. It is hard to keep everything up and not freak out all the time. Because,
Organized chaos, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Organized chaos. That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. Well, you could if you see the size of the daycare bill. So
Yeah.
And when you think about other people raising your kids, man, we don't have very much time with them as children, So I would much rather them learn from me than a stranger, you
Right.
know? And there, by the grace of God, I have the opportunity to do that.
Right.
And not everybody's in my spot. Not everybody can afford the luxury of staying home, but thankfully my wife's got my back and I got hers. So.
That's good. Yeah, I just switching to these 410s and having
Yeah.
the Wednesday off has saved us like $200 a month
No shit.
just in daycare service.
Oh, I bet.
And I don't get to see my wife as much. I think today was like we had a couple hours just for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we don't find that often.
So does she work during the day or at night?
She works very early in the morning, so it's like 4:30. I think she's supposed to open, and then she
shit.
gets off at like 1:00. Sometimes noon.
Oh, so you guys so that's a whole day you guys are missing out.
Yeah, I need to start planning those random date nights and stuff like that. I might do one soon. Hopefully.
Go pick her up from work.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Go
for
pick
sure.
her up from work and be like, hey, you're gonna leave your car here, and we're gonna.
Grandma's already watching the kids. Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna go hang out.
That's what's good about having my mom.
Yeah.
Get close.
Yeah, but so my mom watched the kids for us before she passed away.
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. been a long time now, almost 5 years or almost 10 years.
Still
now.
feeling it. Oh,
Yeah. She washed our baby for it. Now, it was difficult because she fed him all kinds of ramen noodles and shit, made him fat. But poor kid, she'd make him stay in one room, and she'd be like, "Okay, we're staying in here for the rest of the day." And she's like a little old grandma lady,
Right.
kinda, you know.
She can't do all the things.
You're
like,
right.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so terrible, but it was so awesome because she was cheap.
Right.
$50 a week is all I paid her, you know, but it was so nice to have that.
Right.
But then again, I couldn't do it now if she was alive now, because my youngest son he would fuck her up. he would
Full of energy.
oh man, like 15 minutes he'd have her ready for a nap. He'd just and you can't he'd be fine. You know, he's 5 and he's autistic, but if she needed to go take a nap, he'd be fine by himself. Like, you know, he'd keep himself entertained. He'd stay right there in the bedroom with her and keep himself entertained until she woke up. But man, as soon as she woke up, it'd be on again. They'd be
Right.
chasing each other around the house, and he wouldn't let her sit down. So it's if she was here, she'd get a workout with
Right.
him.
Yeah.
you know.
She'd be having fun.
There'd be no way she could trap him into one room. It would not work out for her. They'd be fighting. But anyway, I appreciate you coming, man.
Not a problem.
And I'm going to have you on again probably next month.
Always a pleasure.
You got that big marathon coming, 26.2 miles, a whole marathon.
28th of September. So yeah, 5 weeks away. Yep, at 7 a.m. If you're trying to anybody that's trying to come out and watch, I would recommend being there at like 11:45, 11:40, right in that time. That's when I expect to cross the finish line. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, yeah, 11. So hold on, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So maybe, 10:45?
10:45?
I expect to be just under 5 hours.
Okay.
So it's 10:45.
Holy shit.
So maybe I'm adding an extra
26.2
hour there. But yeah, I'd say around like 10:45 is when I would cross the finish line.
It's almost like, you know, run to Platte City for lunch.
Basically.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it's like.
I think about that all the time too. It's 26 miles away. Yeah, it's about a marathon.
But
Yep.
anyway, yeah,
I
we will.
definitely recommend
We'll have
you
you
come out
on
there.
next month, September 28th. You're going to be doing that marathon. You got anything else coming up?
Yeah, actually October 13th is the Spooky Sprint. That's going to be at Krug Park at the top of the hill. I'm going to be dressing up as Forrest Gump. So
Oh, hey.
I'll have a Bubba Gump
You
hat.
make a perfect Forrest Gump.
I'll have a blue plaid shirt, khaki pants, which is going to be different. Yeah. And then I'm going to be carrying a box of chocolates. So if you guys want a box of chocolate or, want a chocolate, I'll hand you one.
Awesome. October 13th.
If they're not
Krug Park,
melted.
St. Joseph, Missouri.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to go out and run, hey, run to your heart's content.
Yeah.
Get out there and do it.
Yeah. I also have a running page too. So
Will's running page. That's right.
Will's Running Thrills. Yeah.
Will's Running Thrills.
Yeah,
There we
is
go.
the name. Yeah, yeah.
There we go. My mouth
You're
is
good.
working faster than my brain.
I
so.
know that feeling.
But all right, man. We'll see you and see you guys
See you
next
guys
time.
later.